Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us for this update from your coronavirus headquarters. I'm Mal Meyer. It's good to be with you. As the number of coronavirus deaths in the U.S. tops 97,000, Americans in all 50 states headed out to enjoy a very different kind of Memorial Day weekend. But images from crowded beaches and lakes worry national health experts. Tom Hansen reports from New York.
People were packed into central Missouri's Lake of the Ozarks over the weekend, despite social distancing orders. At this pool, few were wearing masks. And in Daytona Beach, Florida, police helicopter video captured more than 200 people crowded onto a beachside street where men were throwing money from a car and blocking traffic. Shortly after, there was a shooting that sent several people to the hospital.
We got slammed. Disney's closed. Universal's closed. Everything's closed. So where did everybody come? On the first warm day with 50% opening, everybody came to the beach.
It's scenes like these that concern the head of the White House Coronavirus Task Force. The CDC estimates more than a third of infected individuals are asymptomatic and contagious.
You don't know who's infected, and so we really want to be clear all the time that social distancing is absolutely critical. And if you can't social distance and you're outside, you must wear a mask.
Soon, the Trump administration is expected to ban travel from Brazil, where there are nearly 350,000 coronavirus cases and more than 22,000 deaths. Mass graves are dug and ready to be filled in the country's largest city, Sao Paulo.
As of now, I'd say Brazil, and we'll take a look at the other countries on a country-by-country basis for sure, Margaret.
But the U.S. has the most deaths of any country by far. The number is expected to hit 100,000 in the coming days. The front page of today's New York Times listed 1,000 names drawn from obituaries around the country. Tom Hansen, CBS News, New York.
Nearly 15,300 positive cases of COVID-19 are being reported in Wisconsin, and 510 people have died from the virus. Just under 9,000 people have recovered. Taking a look now at our local numbers, there are no new cases being reported in La Crosse County, but there is one new recovery. There's also one new case in Eau Claire County, along with one more recovery. 5 new cases are being reported in Trempealeau County, and one new case and one new recovery are being reported in Crawford County. Today, Minnesota is reporting over 700 new cases. Nearly 20,600 people have tested positive and 869 people have died. That's 17 more than yesterday. 709 of those deaths were people who lived in a long-term care or assisted living facility. Over 14,000 people have recovered. There are no new cases being reported in Winona or Houston counties. Places of worship will soon be able to reopen their doors once again in Minnesota. Governor Tim Walz says on Wednesday they'll be able to open at 25% occupancy if they follow social distancing and other public health guidelines. Walz says the issue has been a challenging one because large gatherings raise the risk of spreading the virus. He says he also understands the toll the pandemic has taken on the spiritual health of residents.
We don't want to have any setbacks, and the last thing we want to do is have anyone get sick within our facility.
The leader of the Catholic Archdiocese of St. Paul in Minneapolis welcomed the news, but said parishes should not open if they don't feel they can meet safety measures. The order also applies to funeral homes and other venues that offer space for weddings, funerals, and worship for more than 10 people. In Iowa, there are over 17,200 people who have tested positive for the coronavirus. 455 people have died, but there are more than 9,300 recoveries. Almaquis and Wenatchee counties have no new reported cases. As summer is approaching and states are reopening, there's a big question mark on which activities are safe to do during this pandemic. Manny Gaither has what health officials suggest in today's Health Minute.
It's the unofficial start of summer, but this Memorial Day is like no other.
A lot of this is just unknown. The playbook doesn't exist.
During a webinar, fellows with the Infectious Diseases Society of America talked about summer activities. Dr. Preeti Malani says common sense is going to be key to keeping the coronavirus from further spreading.
A lot of us want to plant flowers in our garden. If you drive up to the nursery and you see that there are hundreds of cars in the parking lot, it might not be a safe time to shop. Maybe you need to come back later.
This holiday, you might find yourself at the pool. Dr. Leonard Mermel says chlorine in municipal pools should be at a level that's going to combat the coronavirus.
I'm not concerned that there would be transmission in the water in the pool, more with people in close together in that setting.
If you're planning to travel, house rentals and hotels should be disinfected according to CDC guidelines.
You have to have the assurances that the proper cleaning is done of the entire setting, particularly, again, high-touch surfaces.
This summer will also set the tone for fall. Malani suggests a phased approach for returning to sports like football.
It's really hard to physically distance in playing of sports. So there's that aspect, and there's also the spectator aspects. And this is going to be one of many questions that gets looked at this summer.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The doctors suggest owners of rental homes screen potential patrons by asking a few questions beforehand, focusing on whether anyone is experiencing COVID-19 symptoms. They say owners should also encourage those staying on their property to alert them if they feel any symptoms after the stay as well. Thanks so much for joining us for this coronavirus update. We hope you can join us tonight at 10. Take care.